Greetings and God bless you. Welcome to Choices. We're happy to be able to speak to you, to communicate with you wherever you are. And we pray that God continues to watch over you and your household, to preserve your life from destruction and to protect you, to lead and to guide you. You know, as I look around, we are surrounded by two major things, uh, information and changes. There's a lot of information out there currently, and I wanna encourage you, seek truth, guard against fake news. And the advice to deal with information is gain understanding, not just knowledge, but gain understanding. Let's work towards that. And as it pertains to changes, some changes are uncomfortable, some are grim, and there's so many other adjectives we can use to describe the changes we're experiencing. Our advice to you is the word for the year: adapt. Let us strive to adapt in this season. Few things remain regardless of information and changes: the word of God and principal things. Wisdom is the principal thing. These are not normal times. So let us lead lives and live lives of understanding, adaptation, and wisdom. Gentlemen.
I want to read from First Peter 1:13, from verse 13, and it says, "So prepare your minds for action and exercise self-control. Put all your hope in the gracious salvation that will come to you when Jesus Christ is revealed to this world. So you must live as God's obedient children. Don't slip back into your old ways of living to satisfy your own desires. You didn't know any better then." You know, we are in the midst of a pandemic and we've been emphasizing this over and over again. I think to date, I've just checked the records and I think I'm seeing 250 persons, 250 persons would have died so far in a small country with a population of about 750, there about 250 persons would have already died. Now, information is out there. Every day we see on the television, we see on the road, we see different programs like this programs. This program we're talking about wash, sanitizing your hands, wearing your face mask, social distancing. I don't believe that we are void of information. What we need right now is a mindset change. We need a change in the mindset, a change in the way of our thinking. We are not to fall back in our old ways because we have information now. The word of God says to obey is better than sacrifice. If we are obedient now to what we're being asked, what we're being told to do, we will not join that 250 persons who have already passed on. What might be sad about that is that all I don't have all the data, but all of those persons may not have gone anywhere. It might have been persons who would have been partying, who would have been drinking and having a nice time, and going among other people who have been trying to keep the rules, and they have suffered and died. And so this thing is real. We do not want to join. So we want to talk to those people, particularly those who may not have the finance, those who may not have the kind of economic power, who continue to live loosely. And if this thing comes to you in a harsh way, you will not have that kind of resources to really, give you the backing to be delivered. That there's a vaccination now, and let us take our vaccines and let us do exactly all the things that we've been asked to do by the task force about social distancing, sanitizing, and keeping safe, wearing our face mask. Let us do these things, people, so that we can all live. It is time for us to wake up. I think we've been sleeping. I think it was Solomon said, "A little sleep, a little slumber, and folding of the arms to rest. Poverty will come upon us like a bandit and scarcely like an armed man." Right now, some people can't work because of what is happening now. The only way this thing will cease is that we have to attack it in a holistic fashion where all of us must comply with the rules and the regulations that are being asked by the National Task Force. And I'm talking about compliance from the highest and most powerful to the lowest person in society. Let us not join that 250. Let us live and let this country move ahead.
Well said, Pastor Dr. Hudson. Well said. I think that we're in a boxing ring. That the referee always say to you at all times, protect yourself. But if you don't protect yourself, you'll be knocked out. And if we don't protect ourselves in this country, what you're saying there, we're going to be knocked out. We got to really lift ourselves together and do things that would pleasing for you to live on. They have an old saying, what's sweet in goat mouth is bitter. You know where. So we got to be very careful. We got to be very careful.
Well, thank you. I was wondering how the quotation would end. Thank you. Thank you for finding a safe space to land your craft. But the question that is in my mind over and over, are we living in normal times? Could you are watching this program, wherever you're viewing this program from, and we want to put this to you. Even if you're seeing this program in a foreign country, and a lot of people look at this program in foreign countries. And so this is not only relevant again, this question. I'd like to ask not just the panel. I am putting this question to you. Yeah, you're double handing right now with beer. You have a whiskey, a shot of whiskey nearby, you're having a ball. Are we living in normal times? Gentlemen, could you make a comment? And if you make a comment, if these times are normal, or if the times are not normal, could you perhaps give two examples for your or two reasons for your answer? Reverend Asana.
I will say we are not living in normal times. Or if we do, our normal has changed. A year plus ago, I did not have to worry myself with wearing of masks. I did not have to worry myself about social distancing. While I must wash my hands, I didn't have to go to offices and stores and wash my hands. I had no concept of what COVID-19 was. I just moved on. I heard that there was some virus in China, Wuhan, China, and that several persons died, but it was so far away. It didn't matter to me so much, save and except lives were being lost. Now that has come right home. I know of persons who have died. I heard recently of 4 members of a family within a month, within 1 month, died. A mother, 2 sisters, and a brother. Now, obviously, I know persons who have been infected. I hear of the ravages of the disease. I read of what happens what is happening in Brazil. In 1 day, 4,000 persons dying, and persons are lined up to go into the hospital, like persons lining up to go to a show, and they are unable to get in, and they're dying on the cots and on the road right there because of COVID. Obviously, that can't be normal.
So what you're saying is that I want to go to go to a market. When I put a mask on, I can't breathe properly. I want to go to a party tonight. What you're saying to me that it is so abnormal that I can't do that. I can't do that.
You have to wear it. If not, unless you're making up your mind to go to your maker, you put yourself at risk. You put your family members at risk because the virus is real. We may not want to, and because I guess because we are so physical, we everything is about our senses, what we can feel and touch, and we can't actually see the virus. You even make a decision, oh, these people don't have the virus. How do you know that they don't have it? So the safest thing to do is put on the mask.
Martin, are we living in normal times, or these times are not normal?
Well, it depends on what you mean by normal. I think that that would be the first way for us to really look at answering a question like that. But our behavior has changed, and now we're trying to find an equilibrium. An equilibrium. We're trying to figure out how our traditional or how our basic attitudes and behaviors are now to meet some sort of balancing place when it comes to the new environment that is dangerous. When it comes to the health issues like with COVID and Corona, and also managing that against stuff like depression and stress because of the changes associated with this. So right now in Guyana and across the world, we're trying to find a new equilibrium, right? In economics, you look at it when your supply changes and when demand changes. It's the same thing with this situation. We're trying to find a new equilibrium. So when it comes to finding, are we living in a normal period or is this normal? I think that we're moving towards normal right now. Are we in a normal place? No, we're moving towards a normal place. But that being said, I think it's important for us as Guyanese to do our research and everything, but use as much insightful information to manage what we're dealing with. Number one, it's important for us to acknowledge that something has changed the environment and the environment is no longer the same, so we need to adapt. That's the first thing that we need to do. The second thing that we need to do is to figure out what are the best tools for us to use to adapt. The places where you can find information like that is at the ministry, look on the news, do your own research and figure out, okay, enough people are saying that the masks should work. All right, let's use the mask because that's the common knowledge right now. And the other scary part about it is that the way that we manage ourselves during this period is going to change. Because at the beginning of this period, when I was talking to some doctors and stuff, they were saying, no, man, you can't wear the mask. Everybody can wear the mask. Number one, we got enough masks. Number two, y'all wearing the mask wrong. I remember last year, March, that's what they were saying. Because we weren't putting on the mask and taking it off correctly. But as the scientific knowledge changed, we realized, okay, the masks are what we need to do. Washing hands, we started to adopt that. Using the alcohol sprays, we started to adopt that. So it's important for us to also look at that. And thirdly, when it comes to vaccinations, once you're eligible for it, I think that you should definitely consider using the vaccines in order for us to come back to a place of normalcy. And I'll end with this. When it comes to meeting this new space of normalcy, in the Guyana, in the business sector, there's a challenge when it comes to like the people who prepare food and the people who have who are operating within that space of serving at restaurants and that kind of stuff, because the way that they're doing business has to change. And many of the persons who they might employ might actually have lost their jobs because they're not getting the same kind of crowds like before. They can't interact in the way that became used to interacting. So it's important for us to match what we're the scientific knowledge and how to protect ourselves in this new normal versus the negative impacts that it's going to cause on people who might not be able to live because their entire life has been built on a specific industry that is now being threatened. So definitely acknowledge, number one, something has changed in your environment. It's COVID-19, and I need to put on a mask and I need to follow whatever protocol is there. And the second thing is, while we comply, we also need to look at the future and how we're going to be able to survive this period, because it's going to be life and death for some people who have been tied into these specific industries.
Wow. Well, is there a place for targeted intervention? Anybody? Is there a place, given the realities that we have, is there a place for targeted intervention?
Yes, Chair. I would want to say that there is a place for targeted intervention. So far, we know that 250 persons would have died. What we do not know is or are the streets that they are from. Well, we hear regions 3 and regions 4, those two regions, and then we hear places like Kiti, which is a pretty large area. So we don't know exactly where these people are from, but we speak in a broad context, region 4 and region 3 and so on. And these are vast regions. Region 4 alone has a massive population. Region 3 also, you're talking about 65,000 plus people. Region 4, 200 and something thousand people. So when we say region 4, we don't know where. And I believe that if we know the specific location or locale where these people are located, well, then we could say that in this particular area, there's a proclivity to move in a certain direction, and therefore we will target these people in this particular area for them to comply and for them to respond in a positive way so that they will help decrease the amount of cases that we see. And so there is a place, I think, by just publicizing numbers in a broad sense, we're not able really to zero or zoom in on the areas of the problematic areas so that we could speak to those people directly, show them, look, in your community, this is where this thing is. So you need to protect yourself more than anybody else. And you need to protect not only yourself, but to protect people by moving out of the community because it is here and you need to think. So I think we have to start moving in that particular direction because, like I said, and you asked the question, this is not normal times. There is something out there that is killing people. And anytime you have a situation where people are being killed or they're dying because of something, in this case is a virus, it cannot be normal. And therefore, the whole idea of going to a club and clubbing, the whole idea of bus riding, the whole idea of even the school setting in what used to be the normal thing, we can't do those things anymore because something is moving around the community, moving around the society, killing people. So, as Martin said, what we have to now do is to practice the new normal. And in this new normal, it's all it calls for some delayed gratification. You know, this craving to do different things in the flesh, this craving for dance and to drink and so on. Just delay these things because the new normal now is that you have to wear your mask, you have to social distance, you have to sanitize, and those are things that people are not accustomed to doing, and therefore these are things that must be done for our own survival. So we have to practice some delayed gratification. I think one person said, I think it was a DJ, the longer we stay outside, the more time we spend outside will be the longer we will have to stay inside. So if we want to come outside again, we have to spend most of the time inside so that at some point in time we could come. This is a DJ at this jockey saying because he too must be tired inside and he want party. So all those people who staying outside and got us in this mode where we have to be locked away, it might be affecting some people. So there's a place of target intervention. We got to find the places, and I know we don't want to display or let people know names of people and where they're from and so on. But those who have that kind of information, they could treat it confidentially and do targeted interventions in those communities or in those specific spots or villages to save this thing from getting out of hand, which it is already out of hand in any case.
Dr. Lee, you have an understanding of this country and of our behavior, our proclivities. Could you? There is a school of thought out there that says we're hoping that people will change. How would you? What advice would you give?
Um, well, it's something good to hope that people will change. But given the configuration of this country, we have been accustomed to commuting, moving from one community to the other, whether it's a business, whether it's for pleasure, whether it's for educational opportunity. So in that context there, the more we make people aware of the dangers that the coronavirus poses, it would impose upon them to restrict. I mean, Dr. Hudson was talking about targeting and all of that, to restrict certain activities Look, for example, we had the Spanish flu, 1918. We had Ebola. We had SARS. We had so many pandemics. And what was discovered is the fact that the more people discipline themselves, the more people restrict themselves from what was then considered the norm and adapt it to a new norm, it hastened the way the vaccine was able to be brought under control and or to recede. So the point in all of this is that we have to adapt to a new norm. And the more or the faster we're able to do it, is the better we'll, well, we'll be able to overcome what we currently face here now. So we simply have to change our behavior. We simply have to do that in order for us to restrict the spread and to bring the virus under control.
Do you believe, Pastor Benjamin and Pastor Joshua, do you believe that leadership plays any role in helping us get a grip on this situation? Is there a place for leadership here?
Oh, certainly, Bishop Messiah. Leadership plays a very important role. We often say leadership is either the solution or the problem. And the fact that leadership has proximity to information, I think leadership has to take responsibility to lead by example and to lead from in front. And so it is more responsibility upon the leader or upon leadership to ensure that they dot the I's and cross the T's and let people know that this is the situation, what needs to be done, we're doing it. And when people see that, because we live in a culture where we respect our leaders highly, political and otherwise, and so sometimes what people say, or most of the times what our leaders say, we do. And so we have that responsibility as leaders, not only to say, but to behave in a certain way so that the people will see the example and follow.
Thank you. Pastor Singh, Brother Millie, you're like me, we're seniors. What should be the attitude of seniors to taking the vaccine? I mean, it's an advice you're giving. What should be the attitude? Just Pastor Singh.
My encouragement is to all who are available to take the vaccine, to take it. It's better to be safe than to be sorry. This coronavirus is real. It's not a Nancy story. We're seeing it in front of our eyes, not only in those developing or those developed countries, we're seeing it in front of us. It's almost at our door that the coronavirus is real. 250 have already lost their lives. It is said the vaccine would not prevent you from getting the coronavirus, but it will save you from so many things. You know, all the effects, the serious effect. You're going to hear me sharing with you next week my experience. I contracted the coronavirus, and I'm going to share it with you next week. And so my advice is to all and sundry, forget about the negative statement, the negative remarks. You're going to find this. Not everybody would be positive, but you be on the positive side. And I advise you, this team advise you, take the corona vaccine and protect yourself.
Millie, thank you very much, Pastor Singh.
So when I look first at you and you went and take the vaccine, I turned to myself, I said, what? If Pastor, me Bishop take this vaccine, I gotta get this vaccine also. So yesterday, I turned up. And when I turned up, I was treated well. They tell me to sit outside. I sit and I received the vaccine. And I was feeling okay. When I come home, I eat 2 big buns and drink a sweet drink. Yeah, and last night I had a good rest. You know, I had a good rest last night. So people at our age must go and take the vaccine. It's for our safety. When I look now what's happening in Brazil, it's a frightening something. And our borders, my dreams. Bishop, our people got to take the vaccine. The thing is over 40. Let them go. Let them go and take the vaccine and be safe, be more than to be sorry.
Joshua and Pastor Temple and Pastor Sana, we've got just under 2 minutes. Quickly. What is your advice to young people? Young people want to party. Young people want to socialize. Please, could you please give us a word?
My word is stay home.
That's
You
your
will
word.
find that's my words.
To
to the
those,
youth.
to those who want to party, you're telling them
Party.
stay home.
Stay home. Stay home.
I would say, you just got to count the costs. Party now and risk not having to party in the future, or take stock now and you may be able to party in the future. I mean, it's not a Christian advice. I'm just, I'm talking because I want to save your life. Life is the most important thing. You can deal with your soul. But right now, you need to live.
Joshua.
The phrase that comes to mind is to innovate responsibly. Young people, we have the ability to innovate, and we can do so responsibly. It is not a safe time to hit the dance floor. Now is not a safe time to be outside excessively or more than is necessary. And so, how about we challenge ourselves and innovate and do so responsibly?
21 seconds to go. We are touched by the many faces of this coronavirus. We are concerned about what we see, what we hear. We are aware that we have Pharisees in our midst, only telling us what to do, but not doing the same thing. But we want you to know this. The vaccine, the virus is real. Please protect yourself. Protect your loved ones. Protect your community. This is Choices. See you next week.
I'm Celestia on behalf of the set, reminding you that your whole life is the sum of your choices. God bless you.